People tell me, and I've heard some people say about how Man United now have an identity under Solskjaer. Tell me what it is. Somebody tell me what it is. You look at Man United, you look at Man City, you look for identity, you look at Dan slick passing, fullbacks tucking into the midfield, high pressing. You look at Liverpool when everybody's fit and they're under pomp, and even an ardent Man United fan would have to say Liverpool's form this year has been down to injuries. When they're all fit, what's the identity under Klopp? It's high pressing, it's energy, it's pace, it's power. They swarm you. What's United's identity? Give it to Fernandes. Try and get Pogba in the game. Sit and defend for a little bit and hit on the counter-attack. What's their identity? Their identity is their manager. The manager has got his head in the clouds at key moments. He hasn't got the experience. He hasn't got the resume of a Tuchel, certainly of a Klopp, and of a Guardiola. These top managers, you know, Antonio Conte, who's left Inter Milan today, love him or loathe him, track record.
Yeah.
Hasn't got a track record. His track record was he was a United player. And yet somehow that has washed and bought over some of these analysts who won't admit it, but are buying him a bit of time because they either played with him or they know him. This is Man United. This is a side that are getting their backside whopped by Liverpool and Man City. This is a side that can't even win the Europa League now. This is a side that are not dining at the big table in European football, and yet they continue to say, we're going in the right direction. We have the right man in charge. Who really believes that? Who really, really believes they have the right man in charge? When it comes to the crunch and all the big games that Solskjaer's managed at this club, they have lost. That's not fantasy analysis, that's fact. And here's another one tonight against a side that they should have been smothering, they should have been peppering that goal, and Villarreal should have been on their feet at the end, because United should have torn them apart with the difference in squad and the difference in budget. But they didn't. They didn't, and that's down to two things. Maybe a bit of arrogance from one or two players, who knows, certainly bad performances, but it's down to the fact they do not have a manager who's going to cut the mustard for this football club going forward. And I'm fed up telling people that, but I'm telling you, until I go to my grave, I'm right about this one.
What about those who would say this is always going to be a tough task for United once Harry Maguire?
No, not like Harry Maguire. The club captain for Villarreal was on the bench. You got Foyt playing at right back with the headband, and Tottenham let him go. You know what I mean? And before we go back to this is a smokescreen. This second in the Premier League is a smokescreen. Let me tell you, everybody else has imploded this year apart from Man City. The 74, and you know I love my points. The 74 points that United have accrued this season under Solskjaer, in the previous 4 seasons would have got them third, fifth and sixth, right? So stop telling me there's progress at this club, right? It's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. They won't change the manager because they haven't got the stomach to do it. They won't change it because they haven't got the drive to do it or the willpower at boardroom level. They're fantasy people. They just want to make money. They try and hoodwink the fans. But they need to get, if they want to challenge, if they want to get into the real game with City and Liverpool, and I've always said that Liverpool will be back, Chelsea will be strong. If they want to get in the real game with Bayern Munich as well at European level, and Real Madrid and Barca, they're going to have to hire themselves a proper manager, right? Otherwise, we're just going to dine out in these conversations for weeks and weeks and months, and it'll be the same old. Decent now and again, but not good enough.
Ali, from a Villarreal perspective, and in particular a Unai Emery perspective, who became almost a cartoon character for some in the media with his time at Arsenal and his struggle maybe to grasp the English language. It's kind of like, hey, I've got 4 Europa Leagues.
Yeah, and it's a guy that I think understands very well what he is and is proud of the things that he has achieved, but knows very well that he has worked to achieve those things. And I think the concept of team is very clear for Unai Emery. And let's go back to the semifinals of the Europa League where he takes out Arsenal. And that must have been incredibly sweet for him. But he also knew that he was going to come into this final as an underdog, and rightfully so, because we have mentioned it time and time again that the talent personnel available to Manchester United is superior to that of Villarreal. Now, that didn't mean that they could not win this game. They were going to need some help from Manchester United, and they got that because Manchester United were poor and passive on the day. But then Villarreal had to do their job, and Unai Emery had to do his job. What I really liked about Villarreal today is that there were times in which they recognized, it's not that we're just going to sit back. Yeah, sure, that's where we're going to feel most comfortable. But there's going to be times in which we can go and force the hand of Manchester United. And if there is an opportunity on a set piece, if there's an opportunity to get forward, we're going to try and do that as well, just to keep Manchester United honest, even though they didn't need to do that because Manchester United themselves were playing with a parking brake on. I just think that Unai Emery was excellent, but we knew this was going to happen. History tells us this. A man who has won this competition 3 times knows exactly what the role of his team and his role is coming into a final like this, and we saw that happen once again.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.